Have you ever just looked up at the night sky, seen the countless stars scattered across the dark, and wondered, why is all of this here? You live on this incredible planet, filled with oceans, forests, and life, and it's deeply human to pause and ask what the point of it all really is. If you grew up around faith, or even if you just know a little bit about our culture, you've probably heard that the Bible has an answer to that question. But let's be honest with each other. For a lot of us, opening that book feels incredibly overwhelming. It can seem like a confusing, massive collection of ancient rules, disconnected history lessons, and harsh judgments. It can feel like the God described in those pages is distant, demanding, and impossible to please. I completely understand why so many of us walk away from it feeling more confused than comforted, or why we just leave it sitting on a shelf. But what if I told you that beneath the confusing names, the foreign geography, and the ancient cultures, the Bible is actually just telling one single, beautiful story? It's not a disconnected rulebook. It is a singular narrative about a God who desperately wants to be in a relationship with his creation. Think back to the very beginning. The Bible tells us that before time, before space, there was just God. He didn't need anything. He is entirely complete in himself. But out of an overflowing creative love, he decided to share life. Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 says, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. He took what was dark, formless, and void, and he spoke light into existence. He separated the waters, formed the dry land, and filled the world with vibrant plants and animals." But he wasn't done. He wanted someone to share this incredible space with. So, he created humanity. He made a man named Adam and a woman named Eve. He placed them in a beautiful garden, not as servants to be managed, but as partners to be loved. The whole setup was perfectly designed for connection. But a relationship, a true relationship, always requires a choice. Love simply isn't real if it's forced upon you. So God gave them a choice, represented by a specific tree in the garden that they were asked not to eat from. It was a simple boundary. Trust me and live. Step outside that trust, and you will find death. You probably know what happened next. A deception entered the garden. A voice whispered that God was actually holding out on them, that he didn't really want what was best for them, and that they could become just as powerful as him. And they believed that lie. They ate from the tree. We often look back at that ancient moment and think, why would they do something so foolish? But if we look closely and honestly at our own lives, we do the exact same thing every single day. We constantly decide that we know better than God. We take control. That initial choice in the garden severed the perfect connection. Humanity lost access to the source of life. We chose our own way, and the result was isolation, pain, conflict, and ultimately, death. By all rights, the story could have ended right there. The experiment of humanity had failed. But this is where the story gets really compelling. God didn't walk away from the mess we made. Instead, he made a promise. He promised that one day, the evil that had hijacked humanity would be completely destroyed by one of their own descendants. The rest of the Old Testament is the incredibly messy, deeply human story of God trying to guide a fractured humanity back to himself. It's actually comforting how honest the Bible is about human failure. Adam and Eve's kids brought murder into the world. Humanity became so corrupt that God had to start over with a man named Noah, and even Noah was deeply flawed. People grew arrogant and tried to build a massive tower to the heavens just to make a name for themselves. But God's response was always patience and a relentless pursuit. He chose a man named Abraham and made a covenant, a binding, unbreakable promise, saying that he was going to build a massive family from him, and through that family, he would heal the entire world. Abraham wasn't perfect either. He lied, he doubted, and he made huge mistakes. But he had faith. His family grew into the nation of Israel, and they struggled deeply. They ended up as slaves in Egypt, crushed under the weight of an oppressive empire for generations. But God heard their cries. He raised up Moses, a man who had literally fled a murder charge and was hiding in the desert, to stand before the Pharaoh and demand their freedom. God miraculously parted the waters of the Red Sea to rescue them. He led them to the foot of Mount Sinai, and there he gave them the law, including the 10 Commandments. Now, we often view the 10 Commandments as a strict list of do-nots designed to ruin our fun, but imagine being a people who had only ever known the brutal, abusive rule of slave drivers. The law was God's way of saying, this is what it looks like to be human again. This is how you love each other without destroying each other. It was a gift of boundaries to protect their newfound freedom. Yet, the tragic pattern kept repeating. The Israelites would enter the land God promised them, experience peace, and then slowly forget the God who gave it to them. They demanded earthly kings, so God gave them kings like Saul, David, and Solomon. David was a shepherd who defeated a giant and became a hero, a man after God's own heart. But even David committed terrible, selfish sins. Solomon built a glorious, beautiful temple where God's presence could dwell, but eventually, his heart was pulled away by the pursuit of power and foreign gods. The nation split in two, fell into moral ruin, and was ultimately conquered by Babylon. The beautiful temple was smashed to pieces. The people were dragged away from their homes and sent into exile. It truly felt like the grand promise was dead. But even in those darkest moments, the prophets kept whispering hope. Isaiah, in chapter 9, verse 6, promised that a child would be born, a son would be given, and the government would be on his shoulders, and he would be called the Prince of Peace. They spoke of a future king who wouldn't just sit on a throne and rule a nation, but a king who would actually heal the human heart. They called him the Messiah. For hundreds of years, the world waited in silence. And then, the most unexpected thing in human history happened. The king didn't arrive with a conquering army or a golden chariot. He arrived as a fragile baby, born to a young virgin named Mary in a humble stable in Bethlehem. They named him Jesus. He was called Emmanuel, which literally translates to God with us. God didn't just shout instructions from heaven to save us. He stepped down into the dirt and the mess himself. When Jesus grew up, he didn't fit anyone's expectations. The religious leaders of the day, the Pharisees, desperately wanted a political conqueror to overthrow the Roman Empire. But Jesus brought a completely different kind of kingdom. It was an upside-down kingdom. He healed the sick. He cast out darkness, and he fiercely welcomed the outcasts. He sat down and ate meals with people the religious elite considered entirely too dirty to touch. He taught that the kingdom of heaven belongs to the poor in spirit, the broken, and the peacemakers. His own followers were constantly confused. On the night before he died, Jesus sat down with his closest friends for one last meal. He took bread, broke it, and said it represented his body, which would be broken for them. He took wine, poured it out, and established a brand new promise of forgiveness. Even then, one of his own friends betrayed him for a pocketful of silver. The religious leaders couldn't handle Jesus. He challenged their pride and their rigid man-made rules. They realized that if Jesus really was the Son of God, they would have to surrender their power. So, they conspired to have him killed. Jesus, the only human who had never sinned, was arrested, beaten, and nailed to a Roman cross. When we look at the cross, it looks like the ultimate heartbreaking defeat, but it was actually the ultimate rescue mission. You see, the profound problem of sin, that disease of selfishness and separation that started all the way back in the garden, had to be dealt with. God is perfectly just, and evil cannot go unpunished. But God is also perfectly loving, and he refused to let us bear that punishment alone. Romans chapter 5 verse 8 tells us, "But God demonstrates his own love for us in this: While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Jesus absorbed the devastating consequence of all human failure into himself. He took the distance so that we could finally have the connection. But the story doesn't end in a cold tomb. 3 days later, the women who went to mourn found the tomb completely empty. Jesus rose from the dead, physically proving that he had entirely defeated the ultimate enemies, sin and death. He appeared to his followers, ate fish with them, and showed them that the ancient promise was finally fulfilled. Before he returned to heaven, Jesus gave his followers a mission. He told them to go into all of the world and share this incredible news. He didn't leave us alone to figure it out. He sent the Holy Spirit to live inside us, empowering ordinary people to build the church. And Jesus promised that one day he will return to finish what he started. He is going to wipe away every single tear. He is going to completely remove death, disease, and pain from the human experience forever. Revelation chapter 21, verse 3, paints this stunning picture for us. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, "Look, God's dwelling place is now among the people, and he will dwell with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God." That is the true story of the Bible. It's the story of a God who made a beautiful world, lost it to our painful rebellion, and paid the ultimate price to win us back. It all exists for Jesus and for his kingdom of love and absolute restoration. So, where does that leave you and me today? It leaves us with an open invitation. You don't have to clean yourself up, fix your life, or understand all the theology to step into this story. You just have to be willing to come home. Take a moment today, wherever you are, and just pause. You don't need fancy religious words. If you feel distant, or tired, or confused, just whisper a quiet prayer, asking God to make this grand story real in your own heart. I'd love to hear where you are on this journey. Leave a comment below, and let's keep this conversation going. We are all figuring this out together. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I'll see you in the next one.